Gunshots at the Capitol left one dead and many searching for answers. We give you the latest update on this developing story.
And we take a look at how possible statewide tattoo reform could affect parlors in our area. The Center County Report starts right now. Good afternoon, I'm Jenna Abate.
And I'm Alex Gilliland. We begin with new information on that deadly shooting and chase near the Capitol in Washington. The mother of the woman shot by law enforcement says she suffered from postpartum depression. Police say Miriam Carey of Stamford, Connecticut, was driving with a 1-year-old girl when she tried to ram a White House gate. The child was not hurt. Officers shot and killed Carey after chasing her car from the White House to the Capitol. One officer was hurt and is still at the hospital.
It's day 4 of the government's partial shutdown with no end in sight. Is it having an effect in our area? Reporter Tristan Plunkett takes a look.
For now, the government's partial shutdown isn't having much impact locally yet. The Flight 93 Memorial is closed, but places like Penn State and the Borough State College are simply keeping an eye on things.
We have about a $20 million budget for our general expenditures, of which about $1 million of that is through grant funding that could possibly be affected by something like a federal government shutdown.
Borough spokeswoman Hayden also told us that until State College goes through its own budget planning, they likely won't see effects.
Our budget season starts in November and December, and that's when council talks about what they'll be spending money on. That's a point where we might get a notification from HUD that there might not be as many funds this year or things like that.
For most, that's a sigh of relief. Not everyone in our community was safe, though. For example, Penn State's ROTC program, housed here in the Wagner building, had some of its employees furloughed due to the shutdown. Multiple officers confirmed that to us, although none would comment any further. The shutdown is in day 4, and there's no sign of real progress in reaching an agreement on the federal budget for this fiscal year, and both parties are pointing fingers.
The fact of the matter is the president and his party and Harry Reid have refused to compromise on anything whatsoever.
We will negotiate as we have on going to the budget, talking about a long-term agreement here. We've tried, the president's tried.
An estimated 800,000 federal employees are furloughed during the shutdown. Essential employees are working, but even that's a subject of debate.
Thousands of defense, NASA, and other federal government employees have been furloughed because the president, in his discretion, designated them non-essential.
That's a very subjective term, what is essential. If you're sitting home and you're furloughed, you would probably think your job's pretty essential, I guess.
For the Center County Report, I'm Tristan Plunkett.
Obamacare is a key part of the shutdown fight, and this week's rollout has also sparked controversy. Rachel White has more.
The Affordable Care Act has been the cause of a lot of confusion since it launched on Tuesday.
I don't really know anything about it.
I'm not going to lie, I'm not that informed about that.
But Dr. Jonathan Clark is informed. He's been studying health policy administration for years.
Think of the Affordable Care Act as health insurance reform, as opposed to health care reform.
So what's the problem?
You know, there's a lot of anxiety.
Enough anxiety to divide Congress, propelling them into the first government shutdown in nearly 2 decades.
There are lots of issues that in the healthcare industry that the law does not address.
Annie Harris has insurance, but says Obamacare doesn't address the real issues in healthcare. She's been living with cerebral palsy.
They had the right idea. Thinking of implementation as it was not thought out appropriately.
She's upset that Obamacare doesn't require physicians to provide care to people with government insurance, like those with disabilities. There's still a lot of confusion surrounding the Affordable Care Act, including how it will affect people who live here in Center County and what impact it will have on places like Mount Nittany Medical Center. Jonathan says only time will tell the amount of influence Obamacare will have.
I think we need to let this play out.
I'm Rachel White for the Center County Report.
56 health insurance plans are available to Pennsylvania residents on the government's marketplace website, healthcare.gov.
Police have made an arrest after a robbery at a Center County motel. The Nittany Budget Motel in Ferguson Township was robbed at gunpoint on Wednesday. Police arrested Jonathan Tinallo and say he wore a military-style coat and carried a handgun when he demanded money from the desk clerk at the motel. Cops say Tinallo got away with less than $100. He's now in custody on robbery and other charges.
Lawyers for Jerry Sandusky say they'll ask the state Supreme Court to review the latest ruling in his case. This week, a Superior Court panel denied Sandusky's appeal and request for a new trial. His lawyers argued they did not have enough time to prepare for trial, that the prosecutor made improper references to Sandusky not testifying, and that the judge mishandled jury instructions.
And 3 former Penn State administrators are still awaiting trial on charges they say that helped cover up for Sandusky. Lawyers for Graham Spanier, Tim Curley, and Gary Schultz want prosecutors to produce more details about the allegations they face. The request includes information like exact times, dates, and places where crimes may have happened. Their lawyers say those details will help them prepare for trial.
Big changes may be on the way for tattoo parlors in Pennsylvania. Reporter Tori Singer has more on the story.
The Pennsylvania House of Representatives is discussing the possibility of passing a new round of statewide regulations for tattoo parlors. The state, which is currently county and self-regulated, has over 750 recognized tattoo shops. With over half a dozen shops open here in State College, popularity is on the rise, and so is governmental concern about the lack of uniformity. But local Tattoo Mark Studio 2 artist, Timmy Tats, believes regulations would hurt businesses rather than help customers.
It's much easier to just say, hey, let's make more money on these tattoo shops. There seems to be a lot more, so let's make more regulations and charge the tattooers double for something they're already paying for once.
Tattoo Marks already conducts monthly spore tests and has regular inspections with the health department, meeting county requirements. So, what exactly would change if this bill passed? Shops would pay annual fees ranging from $200 to $1,000, more taxing on top of pre-existing taxes. The State Department of Health would be in charge, and all shops would be licensed. Austin Grove, owner of Evolution Tattoo, says the real threat to customers is their lack of research before committing to body art.
I don't think the majority of people that come to get tattooed don't realize that the regulations, like the state regulations, aren't really in effect for Pennsylvania. They're not really regulated at all. I think a lot of people just assume that if they go to a tattoo shop, they're going to get a good tattoo, which isn't the case.
Though it's typical for customers to sign consent forms like this one, many are unaware that Pennsylvania is not state regulated. Tierney Flynn, an undergrad at Penn State, who got a tattoo in State College in May, was unaware of the lack of regulations until our interview.
I wish I knew that they make all the rules when you walk in and that it's not government regulated. They could have done anything to me and I wouldn't even know.
So far, the proposal has cleared a House committee. Reporting in State College for the Center County Report, I'm Tori Singer.
Construction on the controversial natural gas pipeline that will run through Penn State's campus is now underway. Fences line the way along Porter Road where the new Columbia gas pipeline will be built. Preliminary construction can be seen along Park Avenue and Porter Road. Crews moved trees and dirt this week near the Arboretum to make room for the pipeline. Construction will continue through football season, but officials say it won't interfere with Penn State game day traffic.
With the rough economy over the last 5 years, at times it's been tough for people to make extra money. But now, reporter Caroline Goggins says some college students and others in Center County have found a way to collect some cash while potentially saving lives.
With exams, papers, and lab reports due, some college students don't have time for a job at a restaurant or store. Others have trouble finding the right job. But they still need the cash. And some have found financial relief on the corner of Beaver and Atherton.
It's easy money and it's going for a good cause, help somebody else out.
More than 200 people come here to BioLife every day to donate plasma and save lives.
People want to help other people, so they often will come and donate because they're doing a good thing.
BioLife Plasma Services is part of Baxter Healthcare, an international company that develops biomedical products. But the steady stream of State College residents and students coming here don't care this is a for-profit company. They say they're making good money and helping others.
Donors here at BioLife can get rich quick. Money is uploaded onto a debit card like this after each visit. These cards can be used at any all-point ATM throughout State College without a surcharge fee.
Donors make roughly $20 per visit. But there are also special incentives that can earn them a potential $50 or $60 a week for visits that last only an hour. After showing ID and passing a physical and health screening, a donor is able to begin the process.
You're hooked up to the plasmapheresis machine and you're stuck with one needle. So you're going to be pumping your hand while you're donating, and your whole blood's going to come up, and then it's going to be spun through a centrifuge in the machine, and the centrifuge separates the plasma.
The plasma is then bottled up, chilled in a negative 37-degree freezer, and shipped around the world. Reporting in State College, I'm Caroline Goggin for the Center County Report.
BioLife has been operating in State College since 2000.
Blaming it on rising costs and cuts in funding, the Center County Library System has been forced to close one of its branches. The East Penns Valley Library in Millheim is now closed. The decision to shut down the branch went into effect this week. Since 2007, the Center County Library System has lost about $2 million in state and federal funding. But despite recent cutbacks, the system says it will not be closing up shop in East Penns Valley.
We have lots of services and programs that are still happening there. And that's part of the reason it closed, is because we think that we can still bring all of the quality services that that community deserves and needs.
Some want to reopen the branch as an independent library. There will be a meeting on the option next Tuesday at 7 p.m. at the Aaronsburg Civic Club. Tropical Storm Karen, where and when it'll hit, coming up.
Plus, a Center County Report crew travels to Pittsburgh to show you the hype over the Pirates' playoff run. And starting a high school football team is not easy, especially when you only have 18 players. We take a look at what a local team is doing to beat the odds. One local high school football team doesn't even have enough players to have a full practice, but that isn't stopping them from competing and winning. Eric DeBaradinas has their story.
As a first-year varsity program, St. Joe's Catholic Academy had to get a hold of a lot of football equipment. Something they didn't need? This bench that I'm sitting on. With just 18 players, all who play both ways, the bench doesn't serve much use.
St. Joe's head coach Dave Carson doesn't have many options on the sidelines, but the option to come to the small Boalsburg school was too much to pass up.
I was contacted by the school and asked if I'd be interested in trying to start the program here. That they were ready, they were really serious about it, and they wanted to go for it.
Evan Young, a Bellefonte transfer, described the challenges facing the team.
It's sometimes tough, with the fatigue that goes on and just the practices. You can't hit as much. So that's definitely a big difference between us and like what you'd call normal.
The Wolves aren't your typical team, and neither is their 2-3 record, a mark that exceeds expectations for a first-year program. St. Joe's doesn't have a strength in numbers, but they make up for it with determination and conditioning.
I usually come off just like kick. When we make a field goal, extra point, that's like the only time I come off the field.
How have the low numbers affected the team?
But there's no doubt it plays a toll in the second half.
In the Wolves' 3 losses, they've been outscored 57-7 in the second half. But the program's future is bright. Young, who will graduate in the spring, thinks it will grow beyond this team of football pioneers.
Kind of get the feeling with the way we're setting the groundwork that it's going to hopefully be a big powerhouse sooner rather than later.
Reporting in Boalsburg, I'm Eric DeBaradinas for the Center County Report.
St. Joe's hopes to get back to 500 tonight when they play Chestnut Ridge. What's your favorite season, Jenna?
I would have to say the fall, because I absolutely love how this campus looks when all the leaves change color and everything.
I agree. It's clear that summer has faded with the changing of the leaves, and there is a reason behind that change. Cooler air and dry weather in the late summer months are responsible for the early color changes in foliage across the mid-Atlantic. Forecasters predict near normal temperatures and precipitation for Pennsylvania in early October, which is important for peak coloration. The best fall colors will develop in early to mid-October when cool nights will break down the chlorophyll in leaves, exposing beautiful red, orange, and yellow pigments. Now over to Travis Patterson with the weather.
Well, we maybe see some fall-like colors here, but it certainly doesn't feel like it outside. This weekend we have a very summer-like air mass in place, and that will keep temperatures a good 15 degrees above average. Currently we're sitting at 74 degrees at this hour. Our average high for this state is 65 degrees, so by this afternoon we will be flirting with the 80-degree mark. It's currently cloudy outside, and with all this warm, humid air in place, we will continue to see clouds throughout the day. even a chance for a stray thundershower. But our main rain chance will come late Sunday night into Monday with a front associated with this system developing across the upper plains. On the cold side of this storm, we're seeing some blizzard watches and winter storm warnings in effect for the Dakotas and eastern Wyoming, and that's actually bringing about 2 feet of snow to some locations like Rapid City, South Dakota. But on the warm side of the system, we're seeing a severe weather threat with some tornadoes and some hail to portions of Illinois and Indiana. But by the time this system reaches our woods, it will diminish the severe weather threat, and we will be left with some heavy rains. And something aiding to the rain threat will be Tropical Storm Karen, currently located in the Gulf of Mexico, expected to make landfall early Sunday morning around the Florida Peninsula. And the front will scoop up Karen, and it'll actually dump all that tropical moisture right around the Mid-Atlantic region and into the Northeast. So it will lead to some very impressive rain totals on Monday, lingering into Tuesday morning. But a look at your 7-day forecast shows a very dry weekend with also very warm with near 80 degrees for both Saturday and Sunday. Then heavy rains on Monday with the help of the Tropical Storm Karen, and that will keep our temperatures down to the upper 60s. But looking ahead to midweek, we see temperatures climbing back to a bit above average.
Awesome to see the warm temps continue. Still feels like late summer to me.
Yeah, it might confuse some people outside this weekend as they rake leaves in that 80-degree heat.
Personally, I'm psyched that I still get to wear my flip-flops a little bit longer, so.
Absolutely, me too. Let's go over to Justin Rock with sports.
Thanks, Alex. Coming up in sports, after a record 20 straight losing seasons, the Pittsburgh Pirates are back in the postseason. Now battling in the National League playoffs, we'll take a look at how the Steel City is celebrating Bucktober. After compiling the longest losing streak in the history of major American sports, the Pittsburgh Pirates are back in the postseason. I traveled to Pittsburgh this week to see what this season means to the Pirate fan base. This season brought a change to the Steel City. Some key offseason acquisitions, coupled in with some young talent, resulted in a 94-win season and the Pirates' first playoff berth since 1992. As fans are filing in here to PNC Park in Pittsburgh for the first Pirates playoff game in 20 years, it's a very exciting time for an entire generation of Pirates fans who have yet to see a Pirates postseason game.
First time I've ever seen the Pirates have a winning season. First time I've ever been to any October game in PNC Park.
How excited are you for
The 5-year-old child in me is freaking out right now.
The Pirates' success has also allowed for family traditions to continue and new memories to be made.
My dad took me to the first night game in World Series history back in '71, and I wasn't going to get tickets, but we got on StubHub last night, and I said the circus only comes to town once.
The circus may only come around once, but this year's circus is still going as the Pirates defeated the Reds on Tuesday night for the team's first postseason win in 2 decades. As the Bucs' championship dreams remain alive, it is hard to ignore how this upstart team has brought an entire city together.
After 21 seasons of really, really bad baseball, kind of immediately just embraced this team and appreciated what it's bringing to the city and how everybody in the city loves this team and loves the stadium.
As the Pirates enter their upcoming series against the NL Central champion Cardinals, some fans are just grateful for the ride thus far.
I'm happy for my son to get to see a winner for a change.
The Pirates currently trail the Cardinals 1-0 in the best-of-5 division series. Game 2 is this afternoon at 1 o'clock. The Nittany Lions football team is back in action tomorrow after the bye week, heading to Indiana to start Big Ten play. Here's Patrick Wu.
Before hosting Michigan, Beaver Stadium will be empty one more week as the Nittany Lions travel to Indiana to open Big Ten play after the bye week. Some players spoke about the benefit of the bye.
We got to work on our fundamentals a lot during the week, and then the weekend we kind of took some time off. We were able to go home, spend some time with our families, get off our feet a little bit.
Indiana's up-tempo offense has averaged over 44 points per game this season and will force Penn State's defense to be able to tackle in space, something it struggled with against Central Florida. Indiana has also gone to quarterback Nate Sudfeld, but Trey Roberson, who started the season opener, spelled him in Indiana's last game against Missouri.
Yeah, each guy kind of brings a different thing to the table, so definitely got to focus a little bit more on each individual guy when there is 2 quarterbacks playing like that.
While Indiana poses a threat, Indiana head coach Kevin Wilson is equally worried about Penn State's offense.
They've got a great package, great plan, well coached. Christian's a heck of a great young player. They're going to be a tremendous college player. on a high level. But to me, they've got, when you talk about our offense, they've got a nice offense, a solid offensive line, a big back, 2 change-up backs that are averaging about 8 yards a pop, a couple quality tight ends. Allen Robinson, as good as there is in this league.
For the Center County Report, I'm Patrick Wu.
Kickoff is at noon tomorrow. You can watch the game on the Big Ten Network or listen on PSU Com Radio. Tyrone sits at 4-1 5 weeks into the high school football season, and the Golden Eagles roll into tonight's matchup on a 3-game winning streak. Tyrone hosts mountain rival Bald Eagle tonight at Gray Vets Memorial Field. The Golden Eagles are 3-1 in conference play after last week's blowout win at Bellefonte. Tyrone put up over 450 total yards of offense against the Red Raiders, and they have their eyes set on another impressive performance. Tyrone is playing well, but they know that Bald Eagle will prove to be a big test.
They're big up front, and they have a lot of skilled people that are dangerous in open field. They can throw the ball a lot better than they have in the past. They have some guys that can run the ball, so they really are kind of a complete offense. We have our work cut out for us.
Bald Eagle sits at 3-2 coming into tonight's matchup, and Tyrone looks to control the game with a basic fundamental offense.
We're not fancy. We're a downhill football team. We have some kind of complementary things we do, but there's no getting around the fact that we have to be able to run the football effectively.
Tonight's Mountain Showdown kicks off at 7 p.m. And the State High Little Lions are on the road tonight at Chambersburg. Game time is 7 p.m. State High is 2-3 on the season. The new era of hockey in Pagula Ice Arena is just 1 more week away, and Penn State confirms Army will be here for the opening game. Tonight, the men's team holds a midnight practice open to the public, and you can skate with them at 1 a.m. Patrick Wu says the Nittany Lions are ready to play and show the world their sparkling new home.
To be associated with the Pagulas and this brand new arena is an honor, and it's fantastic.
The fact that we're in Pagula Arena kicking off this season certainly speaks for itself. I think we all collectively here in the hockey programs and the rink staff, our facial muscles are a little sore from smiling.
The new home for Penn State hockey, Pagula Ice Arena, is just 1 week away from hosting a capacity crowd. Part of the crowd will be a raucous student section, something the players are really looking forward to.
Personally, I like the student section and the locker room. I mean, student section, I'm going to feel bad for the other goalie who comes in and has to turn around and see X amount of raging fans right behind him, and then the locker room is just unbelievable.
The locker room is equipped with touchscreens, full-size lockers, and the Nittany Lions logo on the floor and ceiling. What was the reaction when players first saw it?
I was like bawling my eyes out, like I could not stop crying, and just for me as a senior playing my last year in this rink is just such a great experience, and being part of history on this team, and it's a step in the right direction for our program.
What an opportunity for these student athletes to be a part of this facility and to train and play and have their Penn State athletic career take place right here.
For the Center County Report, I'm Patrick Wu.
That's it for sports. Now back to Jenna at the news desk.
If you're squeamish, you might want to keep an eye out. Some creepy crawlies will be making their way to State College tomorrow. We'll give you the details next.
Do you love bugs? If so, you're invited to attend the Great Insect Fair this weekend. The fair will be held tomorrow at the Bryce Jordan Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The fair celebrates insects with lots of activities, games, crafts, and tasty treats for the family. There are all kinds of creepy bugs to check out too, so kids love it. And if you're really adventurous, you have the chance to sample some of the edible bugs. Seriously. That's all for today's Center County Report. For more news, go to our website, centercountyreport.com.
You can also follow us for breaking news on Twitter at Center County REP and check us out on our Facebook as well. Have a great weekend, everyone.